Welcome to RPG Book Club, a podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we are continuing our playthrough of Drakengard for the PS2, covering chapters 3 and 4. Before we get to all of that, how was everyone's week?
I beat Death Stranding, and it was amazing and weird, and I loved it. And then I was like, I just beat a big PS4 game that I wanted to complete before its sequel comes out this year, so why don't I do that same thing again with Ghost of Tsushima? And then I realized that I was going from a Japanese game about America to an American game about Japan, so that's fun. What's also fun is Ghost of Tsushima. I am enjoying it way more than I expected. I expected it to be, pretty good, but I expected it to, well, for one thing, it was extremely weird going to what is essentially a very normal AAA action open world video game.
After playing Death Stranding.
After playing a very strange game. A game that is strange all the way down. Its mechanics, its plot, everything is very strange. Ghost of Tsushima is normal. But it's really good. The storytelling is fantastic. I'm not terribly familiar with samurai fiction, so a lot of it may be derivative, but I am enjoying the story and the characters and the acting and stuff a whole lot more than I expected. And the structure is basically Assassin's Creed, but it does it really well. And the combat is basically Arkham, but it does it really well. And I like it.
Yeah, it went from being not on my radar almost at all to, after you told me how much you were digging it, it's now probably one of the next 15 games that I play.
Oh, wow. Top 15?
Not top 15, next 15.
You're right, next 15 still. Top 15 of the list to play next.
Yeah. It sounds fantastic.
At what rate do you play video games on your backlog, though? Because it might still be a while.
It's probably going to still be a while. This year, because I've been journaling all of the games that I do over on my Blue Sky. It's the only posts I make on my Blue Sky because my ADHD is real bad and doom scrolling is real easy for me to do. So all of my doom scrollable apps, if I open them, my phone starts fighting with me, and it's really, really hard for me to get in. And then if I do get in, and a minute later it closes it anyways. So I don't post on Blue Sky very often because of my own mental health. So the only posts that I make are my game journals, and I've done I think I'm up to 12 or 13 since the beginning of the year. So
nice.
Potentially this year, depends on what my next games are, because a good chunk of those were Katamari's, which are a 4-hour game. So whomst can say? I am hankering for a RPG because I don't currently have one that I'm working on, and I don't want to get started right away because the Switch comes out in 5 days and it's going to derail me. And so after the Switch comes out, I'm probably going to bite into a big tasty RPG, which means that because Ghost of Tsushima is not a big old long RPG, it might happen sooner than normal. So who can say?
One thing I love about Ghost of Tsushima is that it's about half the length of a modern Assassin's Creed game. And when I was trying to decide what to play next, I was like, maybe I should play Ghost of Tsushima. Let me see what people say about it online so I can see if I think this is what I'll vibe with right now. And I saw a lot of people saying it's way shorter than an Assassin's Creed game, and I love that. That's what people on Reddit were saying. And I looked it up, and the time to complete Assassin's Creed Valhalla Completionist on How Long to Beat is 149 hours.
Jesus Christ.
For Ghost of Tsushima, Completionist is 62 hours, and main story is just 25.
Yeah,
Whereas main story for Assassin's Creed Valhalla is something like 50. 61.
Jesus Christ.
It seems like Assassin's Creed Shadows is less bloated than the past couple big Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah,
so hopefully that continues.
I've heard Shadows is phenomenally good.
Yeah,
So
that's what everyone's saying.
yeah, maybe I'll play that one of these days.
It's cool that what's his name, Yasuke, has a video game because
Hmm.
he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yasuke. Uh, and yeah, it sounds cool.
What about you, Trish? What have you been up to?
So after talking about back in January when I went to a local queer event, for sapphic folks at a local bar, and by a local bar I mean over in Boston, which is a bit away. I was really excited to go back, and then month after month, either I was not in state when it is scheduled, or it would come around and I'd just be too tired. But I went to it not yesterday, a couple days ago, earlier this week, and I was able to take my wife with me this time, and it was a mixed experience. I'm starting to feel unsure if that's exactly the best way for me to like get in touch with local queer community because both of how long it takes to get there, but also um, it's like a club sort of experience. Like it's extremely loud music, and a kind of situation where I have a really hard time just walking up and talking to people. And even with my wife there, huge surprise. We have a lot of the same flavors of neurodivergency happening, which makes it hard for both of us.
Mhm.
So, as fun as the night was in many ways, I'm thinking of maybe trying to refocus on stuff at my local lesbian bar, which is a lot closer. Though there, I have the issue of it's actually harder to get there and back than it is to fucking Boston because unlike the local buses, the commuter rail to Boston actually keeps going up until like midnight. But yeah, so that was fun. Other than that, me and a partner got back to reading Wind and Truth. We're about halfway through now, Sam. Hopefully before the year's out, I'll be able to actually talk about it with you in detail.
Yeah.
Um,
I believe at the end of next month the dramatization starts coming out, so that's when I'll be starting my
ooh.
reread. So I will probably finish my reread around the time that you are finished with like day 8, and then I won't have to wait as long.
Yeah, yeah. Um, had that, and then besides that, I've just been doing a lot of writing. Hoping my new antidepressant slash ADHD med is working. I haven't super been able to tell, but I have been getting some good writing done, so that's nice. And besides that, I've been playing Drakengard. Uh,
I'm sorry.
but
Yeah.
what I know. But what about you? What about you, Sam? What was your week like?
So my week has been kind of very hectic, culminating in game night last night, where my new partner got to meet all of my friends, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a big powwow, and it went wonderfully. Everyone's gonna be the best of friends. It makes me so happy. But
That's the best.
part of the game night we did last night is we did 6-person space team, and I don't know if you've ever got up to 6 people playing space team, but that's so difficult and so hectic, and it was so much fun. Have either of you played Space Team before?
No, I
No, I
don't know what
haven't.
it is.
I miss playing board games so much. I crave having people locally to play board games with.
So the good thing about Space Team is you can play it like over Discord and stuff. So you potentially could play it with online friends, which is great. But it's everybody is on their phones and they're connected to a game like a Jackbox type thing. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, you're all in a spaceship that as long as everyone follows directions, it'll fly itself. You don't have to be good at everything. And so the instructions come across and are like uh purge the auto confluxers or whatever. And so you'll see that instruction on your screen, but you won't have those buttons on yours. So
Oh,
you
oh,
call
I
it
have
out to the
heard of
group.
this.
You call
I
it
have
out to the
heard of
group,
this.
and whoever has it then has to do it. And I normally play with like 3 or 4 people, and that's very stressful already. But with 6 people, not only does it make it harder because you have a lot of people, it's then like everyone trying to get a word in edgewise, and then the person who's the quietest inevitably is like, please someone just flush the blah blah blah, and it's like it's so hectic, so fun.
That's delightful.
We made it to sector 6, and when we got to sector 6, we died before the so when you're going through the level, you're trying to get your ship from the one side of the screen to the other side of the screen by following directions correctly. If you mess up, it will take you back towards the left. And halfway through the level, basically like it looks like a sun, like a big wall of fire is coming forward, and so you have to get farther and farther to escape the wall of fire. When we got to sector 6, it was a wormhole nexus, and when it's a wormhole, the screen is going crazy and everyone has to hold their phones upside down. And so we're in a wormhole nexus, and we died not from the wall of fire but by falling off the left side of the screen. It was rough, but we did it. So good for us. It was a whole lot of fun. There was something else I was going to talk about that I did this week that I was very excited to share, and it's gone completely.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, I'm almost done with all of The Expanse. I'm in the middle of the last book, and it rules. If you want to read just the first 6, which is what the show covers, the show ending there was like a really good finale, and the last 3 books are interesting, and I'm glad that I'm reading them, but the last 3 books feel like The Expanse, The Legend of Korra. And
expansion pack.
Yeah. And so it feels like a long time sequel, and it's like literally 28-year time skip. So stopping after book 6, if you feel like I don't want to read 9 books and 10 novellas, you can just read up to book 6, and it's a good stopping spot. And up to that point is one of my favorite pieces of literature that I've read. So
damn, I need to read them. Also, you just reminded me of a thing I forgot. Recently, my wife and I hadn't among my partners, I try to have like consistent date days where I can. Just because when you have as many partners as I do, it makes things easier. But despite living with her, my wife and I's schedules have been very incompatible, and we've only recently been able to find a new date time that works for both of us. And now that we're doing that, she decided to start me on a new show of hers that I haven't seen. I've started watching Babylon 5 for the first time.
Yeah.
Only a couple episodes in, but I'm so intrigued. I'm very excited to finally get through this classic sci-fi thing.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten through Babylon 5, but when Babylon 5 is one of the reasons that I sorted my Plex server by episodes released chronologically, because I couldn't decide between like 3 or 4 of the classic quote unquote Star Treks. And I was like, well, I'll just watch all of them in release order. And there's a lot of not quote unquote Star Treks that I have to get through first before I can get through all the others. But I'm very excited for Babylon 5 and Farscape. And there was one other one. I can't remember what it is right now. But yeah, I really want to get through Babylon 5. So you'll have to let me know how much you like it.
I will do so. My main thought so far is I can sense vibes between Psychic Lady and I think Russian Lady, and I want to fan that into a flame.
Genders.
The 2 genders.
Oh, I remember what it is. I remember what I've been doing. So Mark Brown from Game Maker's Toolkit did a Brandon Sanderson and was radio silent for a little bit, and then was like, surprise, here's a game, and it fucking rules. And I want to share it with you specifically, Trish, because it is Boggle meets Scrabble meets Balatro.
That is the most insane combination of things I've ever heard, and I'm here for it.
The demo is out. It's called Wordplay on Steam, and you only get easy mode, and you only have like 4% of all of the stuff that's in it, and I can't fucking stop playing it. It's very good. I cannot wait for the real one to come out. So go play the demo and add wordplay to your wish list so that more people can play it because it looks fantastic or is fantastic. But yeah, that's all I've done this week.
Well, that and play Drakengard.
It's true. I played Drakengard this morning.
We jump back into the story with Chapter 3, Chance Encounters. Things start off with a text screen informing us that Kaim entrusted his sister and his bestie to Verdale. Oh, it is Kaim? Okay.
Do you play with your sound off? Because you've got mispronounced like almost every character's
name.
No,
I listen to every character's name, and then they just feel weird to me. They feel wrong. The spelling and the way that they're said don't match.
You also called our new party member Leonard, and it's Leonard.
Okay, fuck that. I'm not calling him Leonard. No,
he's Lenny.
Lenny. Okay. One of his special moves is you tell him about the rabbits. I'm sorry. Things start with a text screen informing us that Kaim has entrusted his sister and his bestie to Verdale, the Hierophant from last time, but all of a sudden he's lost all contact with them, and thus has rushed to the desert to figure out what's going on. I'll admit, I had a brief moment of connection here with Kaim, because I also wanted to know what the hell was happening. It didn't last, thankfully. We then go immediately into a cutscene of Kaim finding his sister, who rushes to embrace him while he stands there holding a sword. The dragon asks the princess where the others are, if they've been taken. Turns out, they did get taken, while Furry Eye was protected by them. We have to go storm their dungeon, make sure we save them. Kaim is silently worrying about his sister, or at least I assume he is. Maybe she's just assuming that. Because she assures him that she's going to be safe while he goes off and does the rescue. Because after all, she's a goddess. I really appreciate the confidence, but thus far we have seen zero evidence that title confers to her any ability to protect herself whatsoever. Yeah. After Kaim walks off, we get to our first actually playable verse, which is a flying section. It has a big cube formation of cube enemies who fire at you. At least they're not hard to hit, unlike some of the other foes in these sections. But if you don't have your magic attack charged when you get to a group of them, they can be a real bitch to take out. Like, you just gotta keep doing flybys. There's just so many of them. When
I was playing earlier today, I realized that if you hold L2, it just becomes a normal-ass flying game and not this weird lock-on bullshit that it makes you do. And this level wasn't so hard, just playing it like a proper flight video game. So
I'll do that from now on.
Yeah, big recommend actually having two fingers for your two shoulder buttons for this game. So one can hold down L2 and you can still do your turnarounds.
Once we reach our destination, we go immediately to a ground stage, and that means it is time to either cook soldiers alive inside their metal armor or stain the desert sand red with the blood of thousands. Your pick. Oh, and while you fight, Verdale starts talking to you again about your pact beast connection via your past beast connection thing, and letting you know that Inowart was taken to a different prison, so our loser is actually still in another castle. After you accomplish all the objectives here, you go straight into a talkie scene where you gotta head up to the Mr. Hierophant guy, talk to him face to face, or rather, stand there while he and your dragon talk to each other. Which I feel like must be a little awkward for Kaim.
So, Verdale's title is Hierarch, but he is a bit of a Hierophant.
You know what? You're right. I misremembered, but I'll try to correct it if I don't. You know, it's just how the notes are. According to him, the Empire isn't really after conquest. They want to destroy the world, all because once all the seals are taken out, something called the Seeds of Resurrection will appear, and that's what they really want. Our dragon friend immediately scoffs at the mention of these seeds, claiming that humans have twisted the truth to serve their personal agendas. Intriguing. So the big goal is clear. We got to protect the seals, because if they're all gone, the world ends. And not only
And
that,
then
but
time
with each...
won't be able to kill anyone else. If the world ends.
Exactly. And not only that, but with each seal that is destroyed, the goddess that is the princess, that is our sister, will have a bigger and bigger burden, which will affect her health worse and worse. Oh, and Verdelay also asks Kime to be more merciful to the Empire soldiers that he fights, which is honestly hysterical of him. Even the dragon is like, yeah, Kime's not changing his tune on that anytime soon.
Have you met this guy?
And then we get my favorite cutscene in the game so far. Inuart is being held somewhere, tied up and helpless, lamenting about how his weakness has led him to this fate. And as if in echo, a dark and haunting voice starts to echo his words, but then adds to them. Yes, he should be stronger, so he can protect Furry Eye, so he can protect her and make her his. At first he resists the voice, confused by it, but as it drags out his inner desires to the light of day, how badly he wants her all for himself, how he wants her to love no one but him, soon it is he who is echoing the dark voice. That's when it begins to lead him to a conclusion. Before Furry Eye was a goddess, she and Inuart were betrothed. And it's this role she occupies that puts her in such great danger. The seal will only lead to her death, so why not save her from that fate? Why not return her back to simply being a normal woman? Of course, to do that, one would need great strength, the kind of strength you can only get from a dragon pact. Now, to that idea, Inuart's immediately like, oh, my bestie Kime could do that. He has one of those. But then the voice lays into him, oh, he wants Kime to be the hero? He wants Kime to be the one that Furry Eye owes her life to? No, Inuart doesn't want that. He wants her love and her gratitude. It should be him who saves her. Inuart is clearly not a horse because he has been led to water and he has proceeded to drink that entire river dry. That is where we fade to black. Holy shit, that was great.
Yes.
Anyway, back to the flying. This time, there are gargoyles. I initially misspelled that in my notes as gay goyles. That's the most interesting thing I have to say about the section.
I got to a part in Ghost of Tsushima where there were some gay goyles, and I was like, ooh, cool.
Now it is time to protect the temple where the Holy Seal is. This part is just brutal. There are so many enemies around this temple to start with, and then once you take them all out, they send more and more and more until they're summoning actual freaking ghosts, which to my astonishment, you can kill with your regular sword. At one point, I thought it was going to be a situation where it's like, oh, a ghost, I gotta use my magic attacks. But no, you can just whack them. At one point, a bunch of dudes come in somewhere else, you go kill them. But no, they were diversion, you gotta go back to the temple. It's a lot. And the structure of this level does a really good job conveying just how hopeless and endless this feels. There's this constant push and pull, dragging you to and from the temple. And eventually, you're spread too thin, and while you're away, the enemy successfully destroys the seal. Oh, and during the fighting, they find Inuart's harp just like lying in the sand. And depending on how long you're playing this map, you might hear them talk about it a lot. Because there's only so many dialogue lines they have. Anyway, Chapter 4, Betrayal, is aptly named because our heroes go back to Furry Eye to tell her that they fucked up, and also give her the musical instrument from her seemingly dead ex-boyfriend? Sure. But hey, no worries, he shows up very soon. Before they even start to grieve, really. And he's got a pact beast now. A black dragon, which is much bigger than ours. Oh, and, they suss out pretty quick that he's completely gone evil. And when Kime tries to stand in his way, Inuart starts babbling about how he doesn't want to be looked down on anymore. He's strong now. He traded his songs for strength. So he's here to take Fairy Eye. She doesn't want to go. And then we get a cutscene of Inuart showing off his strength. And by cutscene this time, I mean more like this is like a nice full motion video sort of, not full motion video, but this is a fancy ass cutscene. Kaim and Inuart clash their swords while their dragons fight, and Kaim is outmatched on both fronts. Inuart completely kicks his ass, and then his dragon gets her neck savagely bit into by her opponent. This triggers flashes from Kaim to the dragon that killed his parents, and despite that, he tries to run over and save his scaly buddy, but that just leaves him open for the black dragon to try to incinerate him. But then his dragon shields him from the flames and is badly wounded in doing so. That's when the old man Vertile steps in, chanting some stuff at our red-haired ex-friend, but Inuart just kind of one-shots him. Approaching his lady love, she slaps him, to which Inuart laughs, grabs her by the chin, and then pulls her in for a non-consensual kiss.
In the most PS2 graphics
Really?
ever conceived.
Yeah. It took a while before video games could really portray kisses in 3D.
Mm-hmm. Now, having succeeded in his goddess napping, Inuart carries her onto his dragon, so Kaim is just able to watch, and he tells our hero, "Welcome to a world without song," which, that's a pretty good line. And then he throws his harp away, and he rides off. Kaim is pretty pissed, and even Vertile opines about how, despite all of his preaching about compassion and forgiveness, in the moment he faced Inuart, all he felt in his heart was rage. Evidently, Kaim then waits for his dragon's wounds to heal, and then immediately gets on her back and sets course to the Imperial territory to get his sister back, so she could just get injured again.
There's absolutely no sense of how long it takes for
No.
a dragon's injuries to heal. Maybe they're magic. Dragons
Maybe
are
they're
magic.
There is just this feeling sometimes in this game where, like, between levels, it is just like, here's a little bit of text on on a screen that looks like it's on a page, and it's just like hey, this is what happened between scenes. And sometimes the gulf between what happens between the scenes is like it feels like a giant canyon. I'm like, wait, we're just gonna skip over that part? I mean, okay, I just feel a little confused how we jumped from there to here. Anyway, after a flying level, Kaim and his army, who we pretty much never see, are confronted by an Imperial army, and, well, you know, our guy's really stressed out. His sister's been kidnapped, his best friend betrayed him, his dragon got chomped, and you know what calms Kaim down better than anything else? Indiscriminate slaughter. So he descends on the army to kill as many as he can. We get a new level. This one's like a mountainy sort of area, and there's a lot more of the same that we've been doing before, except now you're running into the enemies. They're subhuman soldiers. Goblins and other non-humans. Listen, that's what the game referred to them as. I don't like saying it, and I'm not going to say it again.
I sort of figured that, you know, that's from our really terrible hero's point of view.
I know. I just don't like the word coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. When it originally said that in, like, it has the mission statements. It, like, tells you this is your mission, but it's always very flavorful. It's not just like, go kill the targeted enemies. When it originally had that word in there, I thought he was just calling the Empire dudes that in his head.
But it's like, no, this is specifically monstery folk. Anyway, we get to a snowy spot, and after killing some giant pig guys, the dragon talks to Kaim, and is surprised to learn that a dragon killed his parents. I don't know why, but this kind of stunned me and made me laugh. Like, oh, so only now you learn that? Anyway, it's a short scene, and when it's done, we go back to the killing fields. And there's snow now. Eventually, we get our way to an enemy camp, where our dragon can read the mind of this orc, and try to find out where we should go next. But then she hears screams from the fairies, which is bad because they're protecting another seal. But that's not really our problem right now. Kaim doesn't really care. The mind scan revealed a shortcut that can get us to where we need to go, through a mountain pass. But this one has golems, which are so big and tough that you have to use the dragon to take them out. You can't beat them on foot. Also, this mountain pass has just so many wizards.
Yes.
Just so many wizards.
And the wizards reflect your dragon attacks back at you, so you have to, like, get off the dragon, fight them, run around until you can find a spot that's wide open enough for you to get back on your dragon, and then fight the golem.
Yeah, it's really lucky that, generally speaking, when I'm doing these levels, I do them literally almost entirely on foot, and I only use the dragon when I either am getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I just want to finish this level, or when the game makes me, or just for basically fast travel. That's basically what I use the dragon for.
Yeah,
my dragon's probably very underleveled because of that.
Sometimes it's like, hey, you have a new target. It's on the other side of the map.
One thing I did like about these goblin levels, though, is goblins don't have arbalests. So if you want to just hop in your dragon, you can beat the level in like 30 seconds, and that rules. Because nothing sucks more than like, oh wow, there's a lot of these. You know, it'd be really handy. My big fire attack. Let me press select, and now I'm stuck in this animation in which I can still take damage, and the dragon took 2 hits of damage, and now I'm back on my foot, literally unable to control the dragon. It sucks so bad.
Anyway, you just fight and or fly your way to the end, because as you said, you could just kind of fly your way to the end on this one. And that's it.
That's
end of chapter.
Question mark? The chapter ends sort of abruptly.
Yeah, a little bit. Tune in next week so we can fight pointlessly to stop more seals from being broken and watch our ex-bestie be awful.
Yeah. Art school with his red eyes and black dragon.
Yes. This is like the plot development that has so far gotten me the most interested. Just the creepiness of the dark voice that goads him in that scene and like turns him around. It's really well done.
It is.
So, did you skip Ariosh because she's just a party member, and party members besides Vandalay are literally not important to the plot?
Or they are optional, and you don't necessarily get them. I did not get her. I didn't realize this was the time when you get her.
I didn't realize it was optional. It took me straight there.
Leonard is also optional. It just takes you straight there if you do something right. You'll notice, or maybe you won't, that when you're on an optional thing, the verse is in Roman numerals instead of regular.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of this detail until this week because I also didn't get this optional party member flag popped. And so when I then went and watched the video version of this while I was doing my notes, a week afterwards, I was seeing these scenes and being like, okay, I have bad memory and it's been a solid week since I played. So maybe I just forgot. But also, no, because this character seems like a character I would personally never forget because she's a crazy. She fits a vibe for me, and okay. And then I was like, do I have to put this in the notes? And then I saw it was optional. I was like, okay, well, I didn't do it. I'm not putting it in the notes.
Yeah, I knew that they were like quote unquote not canon because of the Roman numeral thing. I just thought it made you get them because it took me straight there on both of them. I don't know if it's because I've been time crunched on both of them, and so I've flown straight to the targets, hopped off, killed them with Kaim, hopped back on, flown to the next target, and like speed running the levels. So I don't know if it's I've beat them fast enough to get those things or what, but
it is weird that it's like Leonard's like, I'm gonna go with you, and then he's not in any scenes, and if you're me, you don't even think to press the circle button and see what happens, and that's how you summon him, so it's like he's not even there.
You have to equip him first too. So
I did equip him, but I then did not ever figure out. I was like, I've pressed every button, why can't I do anything? But I hadn't pressed circle.
Ariosh's magic attack is broken as hell, and it's really cool. You can do it about 6 times per summon, and you get 3 summons of her in a level. So she's dope, but I don't think you should.
What's her deal? What?
So she's insane and probably eats children, and the scene is there's an imperial jail around where you are, and she's like singing to herself super creepily, and the two guards that are there have like I was trying to think of an example, but in media there's always the comic relief, like two guards sort of thing, and they have a little back and forth sort of stuff. And one of them thinks that it's okay that she's very creepy and obviously out of her mind because she's hot, and it's kind of funny. But then Kayam shows up because Red hears the voice of someone with a pact, and they're like, oh, we have to go break them out of this jail. So Kaim just blows up the jail with fire and kills the guys, and then you have a short level where you're going around and killing everybody, and then you go to get her, and her pact is she gave up her womb so she can't have kids anymore. But that's okay because she's the very first thing she does is she goes up to Kaim and is like, were there any children here? And Vandelay's like, don't worry, they were all evacuated. She goes, damn, because they're so tasty.
God damn.
And her pack beast is a one of them's named Salamander. I forget what the other one is called, but they're a fire and ice little duo thing, and they're really cool. And she fights with the most stupid looking, in a good way, JRPGs sword, and I like her a lot.
She sounds bad.
Yeah,
she does. I don't think my mic picked it up. I was laughing really hard when you described the way you described it. Oh, dang, they're so tasty though.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah. Also, apparently, looking at and reading the LP as we went along, the LP writer, who is the Dark Id on LP Archive, they bring in stuff from like ancillary materials, like the strategy guide, stuff like that. And so they're talking about Vandelay, and the reason we can hear Vandelay from everywhere is because he has a pact. But the reason that we don't ever meet his pact partner is because his pact is with a dead, petrified dragon that apparently he could still do a pact with, and what he lost was his hair, which doesn't seem nearly as fair as Leonard and Kayam. Leonard and Kayam have like serious debuffs. This guy just has a head tattoo, but I mean, he also doesn't get the dragon. So I mean,
yeah,
there's that.
It's kind of a trade,
but that's silly.
It's very silly.
It's also silly that you've been calling him Vandelay because his name is Verdelay. I jokingly called him Art Vandelay last episode. Are you doing that on purpose, or did you actually get Vandelay stuck in your brain instead of Verdelay?
I think I got Vandelay stuck in my brain and not Verdelay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
One thing I discovered this week is your weapons, they cap out at level 4. And then I was like, as much as I love Kaim's sword, I was like, I feel bad having something at max level and just using it instead of with all these other weapons. So I was on call with some of my partners, and I just grinded up. I did some free expeditions, and I just went through all the other weapons and started grinding them up. None of the other ones are really at max level yet, but I've now experimented with a lot of them, and I have come to appreciate there is actually some really fun... I like some of the variety in the weapons, and it's so funny you were talking shit about the axe, and I will give you it does suck at level 1. It's really bad. It is also really funny how he attacks with it, because it feels like he never attacks with the blade. Like half of the attacks are like he's fighting with a polearm.
Yeah.
But once you get it like past the first couple levels, it's really good. If by really good, I mean it's the kind of thing I enjoy, where it's a weapon that basically one hit kills almost everything. It's really slow, but I like a slow but strong weapon. Those are fun.
Yeah, and I really like its magic more than Kaim's sword's magic. The big explosion of earth is just great. Just point it at a group of enemies and just take them out.
What I really liked was the I'm trying to remember the name. I don't remember the name of it, but the one that's like basically like a little magic wand or magic staff. It has like some Norse reference in its name or whatever. But I think it's really fun because that one, attacking with it is super weak, but its magic attack uses so little magic compared to a lot of the other ones. And it's like it hits a wide area, and if you're like doing a free expansion in the early levels, it like one hit kills everything.
Nice.
And so it's a great like easy level up of just like the idea of just having something that it's like, no, attacking with it normally is stupid, and you're not going to be doing that except to get your magic back up. You're going to be wanting to do magic attacks almost all the time. It's like, that's really fun. I like that.
Yeah. As a pro tip, if you max out Kaim's weapon and you want to switch to something else, do go back to Free Expedition from Chapter 1, because weapons level up with kills and not with experience.
Not with experience, yep.
So you go to the early ones where you can just mow them down and level them up very quickly.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
So one thing that I loved is I now don't know if this was on my way to Ariush or on a regular thing, so I don't know if y'all saw it, but is one of the flying missions, and on the flying missions, the objective every single time is kill everything. You cannot beat the level unless you kill all of the enemies. That's just how the flying sections work. And it was in one of those flying sections where Verdele and Red the entire time are like, are you not going to stop until you kill the whole empire? Stop it. Show mercy. I'm like, this is the one level I can't. I actually have been following your rules because I'm trying to get through this quickly, and I have run past all the red guys to just find the ones marked target. But this is a level in which I cannot do that. I have to kill everyone. If you want me to not kill them, then like just show me where to fly and I'll just fly there. That'll be fine. But no, I have to kill everyone.
Yeah, no, it's I think the themes going on here are really interesting in regards to the sheer bloodthirstiness of Kaim, and how that kind of gets in the way of him being seen as anything like a hero. But also, it does lay it on a little thick at times.
Yoko Taro games have never been subtle, as we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
No. Was the dogfights with the Grim Reaper part of the critical path this week?
The Grim Reaper?
Yeah, in the sky.
No.
Is it called that?
No, but it's like they call it a wraith or whatever, but it is a big hooded flying skeleton with a giant scythe.
No.
Okay, so that's probably on the way to Ariush, but they are the one time that I think the bad camera while flying is helpful, because they block all of your fireballs with their scythe. They just cut them down and it doesn't hurt them. But if they rear back and throw the scythe like a boomerang at you, they now can't do it. So you have to like wait for your chance. And if you're locked behind yourself on the camera, it's real hard to dodge the scythe and judge where it is in 3D space. So if you run into one of those, let go of L2. But it was very, very fun when I did the first one. I was like, oh, this is a cool way to do a boss fight. All of the monsters there have a wait for your time, and that time is usually either during or right after an attack. I died on that level like 30 times. It is frustratingly hard and cool in theory, but they put way too many of them in there. But yeah, it's cool. I really like the first time I ran into one of them by itself. I really liked that Grim Reaper fight. The end of that level has 3 of them plus a giant cube of the cube ones and a bunch of ones that look like a coffin that open up to shoot fire, and they're invulnerable until they open up. But yeah, it was a fun level.
I sure wish this game's mini map were worth anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I guess it's more of a radar. It just shows you where very close enemies are in relation to you. And it does not have a compass.
No, It does not. And the PS2 is not very powerful. And on the Dragon, they put everything into low level of detail, so you can see for a lot longer than you can when Kayam's on foot. And a bunch of times, because the radar is so bad and everything's so hectic, I would be flying in, and I would see my target, and I would hop off for Kayam, and I would see literally nothing besides PS2 fog, and just have to pick a direction and run. I've been clicking into my map so I can actually see where I'm looking, like, most of the time. Every time I take out any group of enemies, I'm pulling up the full map to see where I'm going.
Yeah, and pulling up the map is annoying. You got to click a stick for it, and it's a bit of a long animation.
Yeah.
I love how shitty this game's graphics are. I mean that genuinely.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun.
This game shouldn't be pretty.
No.
I mean, it really, essentially, it's not trying to be. It's really purposefully kind of trying to be ugly, and it's good at that. And in a way, the PS2 is a really great console for that. I say, as the girl who did not have a PS2 ever.
I think this game is remarkable, but
Yeah.
Also it's sometimes not fun to play.
Yes.
According to this Reddit comment I saw, I'm just looking at stuff about Drakengard, risking spoilers. This Reddit user says apparently Yoko Taro doesn't think very highly of Drakengard 1, and it was like a really difficult. He's apparently said it was a really difficult development process because Kavia was sort of new and inexperienced, and it had to fight with Square about creative decisions, which I can't believe Yoko Taro ever had to defend himself for the shit he puts in his games. But
yeah, I mean, we've said it was his first directorial sort of thing, and I can understand your first one. That's already probably going to be something you often look back on and be like, oh, all the things I could have done better. But if there's all those development issues as well, I think there are the fact that it's so messy is part of the fun of it. But yeah, I could see how some of that mess is a thing he looks back on. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. I remember liking Drakengard 3 a lot, but it's been a very long time since I played it.
Yeah, I definitely am feeling the call to play through all of them and then do Nier again.
I don't know if people like Drakengard 2. I mean, most people don't like Drakengard 1, but freaks do. But I don't know about Drakengard 2. Yoko Taro wasn't involved in that, and you don't have to have the auteur behind you to be good, but you know, people might consider it sort of like a not part of the canon.
Yeah, in the Let's Play, there was one of the things he was talking about Drakengard 2, and in Drakengard 2, the multiple endings thing aren't when you load your game, you load wherever in the timeline you want to go. So when you get to New Game Plus, you can just go straight to the level where you need to do something different. And that's really cool. And Drakengard 2 doesn't have that. So New Game Plus, you just have to play the whole game again, which I don't think I have in me. So I think I might skip Drakengard 2 and do Drakengard 3 and then both Niers.
I love both Niers. Fun thing about Drakengard 3 is that when you get to the final ending and all that, you have to do a really hard rhythm game.
What?
That's in Drakengard 1. Apparently, the very final level of the final ending is also a really hard rhythm game.
Oh my god!
Why does Yoko Taro keep doing this?
I had to get Maddie Grace to beat the final rhythm game section for me because I couldn't do it. It's like when you ask your older sibling to beat a level for you.
And that'll do it for the week. If you like what you heard today, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club where you can donate to help support us. If you do, you can get some extra benefits. At $1 a month, the Gadabout tier gets access to our bonus feed, where we have after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show that are backer only. At $5 a month, the Warrior tier gets the above, but I also read their names at the end of every episode, a little like this. Shoutouts to Frosthair, Dragonslayer19, Freddy Rodriguez, AARon524, and JFro Prime. And then at $20 a month, the Luminary tier gets all of the above, plus a one-sentence shout-out to whatever it is they're passionate about. Shout-out to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shout-outs to Kildranas, who says check out Podcasters Assemble. It is a documentary-style, crowdsourced movie hype/rewatch podcast. Every season, podcasters from around the world are assembled to review, reminisce, and riff on a popular franchise. And then shoutouts to Vimk, who says, after a while came the clatter of the skeletons again, having obediently tossed down pick and hoe to meet their summons. And then shoutouts to It's Claire Time, who says, for you TTRPG nerds, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game. I just think it's neat. For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm... Oh, did I come through? And I'm Trish.
No.
Toodaloo, folks.
I went too high pitched. Bye.